Commissioner Sonio? Absent. Commissioner Bennett? Absent. Chairperson Bigham?
Present.
Commissioner Contreras?
Present.
Commissioner McGregor?
Present.
Commissioner Seguil? Absent. Commissioner Shoemaker?
Present.
We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Public comments. Earl? I think you're the only public we got, sort of, kind of. How about the consent decree, the next? Does anybody want to pull it to look at in particular, or can we just move forward with that?
I move we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
First and second.
Chairperson Bigham?
Aye.
Commissioner Contreras?
Aye.
Commissioner McGregor?
Aye.
Commissioner Shoemaker?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. And off we go to the administrative report. Nice haircut, sir.
Thank you very much.
Very motivated, outstanding.
Well, good afternoon, good evening, commissioners. Some of the information today is a little bit older, and as we stated earlier, we did not have a meeting in the month of, was it August?
July.
And then September.
It's in September.
Yeah.
And so today we're here, so some of the information's a couple months old, but still worthy of review. So let's go and start without further ado. Let's go back to the fuel flows report. If I could draw your attention to how well we're tracking thanks to our wonderful FBO. The Jet A sales are really, really tracking nicely. If we look at the year-to-date with 2025 Jet A fuel sales, we have surpassed in the month of August fuel sales for total of 2024.
Do you think that's a direct reflection on the new group?
I think it's a reflection of Ryan as the general manager going out and going to conferences, saying that we're open for business, that we've got these amenities here. Some of the pilots commented during car week how they were getting outpriced by Nissan.
I don't know. Is this mic on? Is it green, sir?
Doesn't sound like it from here.
Good point.
Yeah.
I'm close enough to him, I can't tell.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's, where's the button located? On the stalk, in the bottom. So push the target button.
I don't think there's one on that one.
Can you hear me okay?
Well, yeah, that's on.
Okay, all right, so, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So.
I can turn my hearing aid down again.
What's that?
I can turn my hearing aid down again.
So, why are fuel sales tracking so well? Ryan's been out there, having David at the conferences, letting them know we're open for business. I think a lot of the pilots have gotten a little bit priced out during car week and have elected to land in Salinas. And I think it's just the excellent customer service that Gate One provides to the customers, which is great. And also another thing too is that we have a fuel contract for hot fueling with the military. And so that's been a big win, and I'll talk about this in my report as well. In fact, I'll talk about it now. Ryan Gogger was able to secure another 3-year contract that he announced today, starting in April 2026. That's a 3-year contract for the hot fueling. And so the hot fueling is where airplanes will pull up, military aircraft with the engines turning, blades spinning, jets providing minimal thrust, and they get gasoline, or Jet A in this case, and are on their way. It eliminates the breakdown and any mechanicals at the airport, and it's just a really good service. When I was at the Mojave Air Spaceport, we had that too. We made $1,000 off of F-18, but so it's a really, really good. I think the reputation is getting out basically. So it's a long answer to your question.
No, that's great.
Yep. Another thing too is I was able to increase the fuel flowage rate from 13 cents to 15 cents. So if you look at the Jet A, it'll continue to climb the numbers monthly. So it's kind of hard to see with this graph at the bottom left, but just rest assured that we are now receiving on that? Then I'd like to draw your attention to the operations. We talked about that a little bit earlier today. And aside from the months of July and August, we're up month over month from 2024. And I can tell you there are a few factors involved with that, and why it's important for the airport is that it justifies the existence of the Class Delta airspace with a control tower. We've been able to have people that don't have airplanes move out, and those with airplanes that are operational move in. And so that right there is increasing the traffic count. I'm also approving formation flying too. So we have a standing offer to allow and approve formation flying. So that increases the operations count as well. And also we have a brick and mortar flight school now called SOAR Aviation. SOAR Aviation is now located inside the terminal, and that's owned by Clinton Weichers. He's a pilot for Delta Airlines. So we're really lucky about that. And Eric Teeters has his flight school, of course, too. So I would say that in the last year and a half, we have more flight students getting their privates. Those are solely privates and instruments, and a couple commercials now. So we're really building this general aviation community back up again. So I'm really, really happy about that. So,
Great.
any questions about the operations? Seeing none, we'll move on. So here's a picture of, in case you weren't there during Car Week, this is a course record. I think Bob would say that that's probably the most sheet metal you've seen out at the ramp there. Would you say, Bob?
Yeah,
We had
In a
a
long time.
75% increase of fuel sales and RON, or remain overnight aircraft, during that week, during Car Week. And I think it's going to even ramp up even further for next year as well, based on how Monterey is just getting at capacity, and their landing fees are high, as well as the slot times. You have to get a certain slot time to take off and land at the Monterey Regional Airport.
You know, I was gonna say, I was surprised the number of people I chatted with who, you know, are not into flying and stuff, but recognized more air traffic during that time. Not that they were complaining, but
Right.
it was like, wow,
Yeah,
there's a lot more air traffic.
I think we all noticed it. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's easiest for recognizing, but yeah, even just civilians out there recognize the increase. So it's great. I mean, this is just pure passive, literally, it's passive income for the airport, and we really do well on this. I'm going to talk to Gate 1 about how we can further collaborate on realizing revenues for the airport. So stay tuned on that. For those of you that were not at the party, we did a refresh. We spent about $25,000 at the patio in the front and in the back. The operations did a really good job on planting trees and adding chairs and these sails. These little sails are little shields, I guess, and also for, what are they called? Sails, yeah. What are they called? Sails, thank you. And then also lights for outside as well. They're controlled remotely. We had 150 people attend. The chamber was there. It was a lot of fun. So we've seen also an uptick in folks eating outside the restaurant. And so I think it's just more activity begets more interest in aviation. I think we're on a good thing there. So we will be taking down the sails when probably the next few weeks or so, when the weather comes around, and we don't want those to rip. So. All right, that was the refresh patio. Air Show Pro operations again did a great job. We replaced the sign above. That's where Gate 1 is located, and the front and back now clearly show the Thunderbirds and the U.S. Blue Angels there. And that's Juan and Raul on top of the lift putting those up, and they did that in about 2 hours. So we got those signs replaced. I'm not sure if you were able to see, but they were a little long in the tooth, and those are really, really good. So with the air show, we did not have the Blue Angels fly, unfortunately, because of the government shutdown. We did lose the F-16 Viper demo flight as well, and any military static displays. So we were expecting a couple C-130s and the C-17. That did not happen as well. But I am really proud of staff, really proud of the air show for pivoting and really getting in there and getting acts in there in a quick notice, in short order to get to kind of build up the very first time that Archer Aviation and Joby Aviation fly at an air show, first time ever in the world, it was at Salinas earlier this month. So, albeit it was a quiet air show, but it was one of the first of its kind for an air show to see both of the eVTOLs flight demo. Really exciting.
People seem to love it too.
They love it, yeah, yeah. And also too, Mavericks, the Friday event evening, is getting larger and larger. It used to be just a kind of a party for the volunteers and the sponsors, but they're recognizing that's a moneymaker now because the tent is already there, and they're looking to continue with that project there. Spoke with Harry Orwell, the outgoing president for the air show, president. He's stepping down by design December 31st. He's been at it for many, many years. Did a great job. Numbers were for the air show roughly, and this is the ballpark figure. Despite losing the Blues and the Viper demo, they're still anticipating giving $150,000 back to the community, and we lost about 22,000 spectators that waved off because of the government shutdown. So it really could have been something really spectacular. We still have, according to Harry, a record in sales, a record in vendors, and a high point also, not the highest, but for spectators as well. So, still need to be proud of what happened.
Do you know who the president, the new president will be?
They haven't decided yet, so
Oh,
I think the
okay.
board meets next week and they'll make their decision then.
Okay.
All right. Jim, can I put you on the spot? You can talk about the tarmac refresh. Well, first of all, let me show it before and after. So if you look at the right-hand side, you can see how tired the letters look. And so, okay, take it away, Jim.
So the 99s have a tradition of putting signage on airports so that the pilots can see it. And they basically do compass roses now, but in the past, they have done the name of the city or the town you're flying over. And we not only have the name of our town or our airport, but also the frequency and the correct frequency that we're on. And we have everything went wonderfully well. We got everything done in a day. I looked at it in the morning and was sure that it would not be possible to get it all done in a day, especially doing all of the green. But we used, 2,000 gallons of paint?
How many do we use?
Yeah, that's a lot of pain.
No, we didn't do 2,000 gallons.
I think it's
I-
250.
200, I thought.
There was 25 gallon buckets?
So 20,
Yeah.
25, I think it was more than that.
Yeah,
I'll
about
get
a,
back- I'll get back on the
no,
numbers. It was a lot.
yeah, I think I opened 8 to 12, somewhere in there, so 40 to 60 gallons of paint. And we only did we did the letters, we did the compass rose, but we didn't do that big acreage of green on the background, so that would add it up to the 100 probably,
Sure.
because there was a lot there. And that was nice to see how well that came out.
It looks really good. And
it-
again, Jim, thank you
yeah.
for that. We're gonna double your pay for next year. I'm amazed at how sharp it looks. And it's hard to have that picture do it justice, but that's an enormous compass rose. If you see where K is, that's the letter E right there for east.
Uh-huh.
You can see how small the letters are there. Really, really small.
As far as doubling my pay, the 99s did let me go to Joby Aviation on their tour, so I am expecting 2 tours next year.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. Thanks again for volunteering your time. That's great. All right, so here's an update to the CAMC grant award as a reminder. It's a state fund, and it was initially a $9.5 million award. They shaved off, the state did $2 million, and so it's going to be $7.5 million. The fiduciary is MDEP, the Monterey Bay Economic Partnership. And again, that is a way to, it's going to be a 4-way airport synergy study, research and development between Salinas, Hollister, Marina, and Watsonville. I'm hoping that Salinas is going to be the lead airport. It's the logical place because of the Class Delta airspace and the size that we have. We're going to, and again, it's still vague. It starts next month. We're going to be presenting to the state what our ideas are. So they've awarded $7.5 million airspace corridors between airports, between the 4 airports, and how you integrate one airport to another. How you fly one eVTOL from Marina over to, is the microphone on? Yeah, it's not working. You want to see if it works?
Is it green?
It's not green.
We're not kidding.
There we go. Okay. I think we're cooking with gas now. So,
If a pre-flight, you're good in the future, sir.
exactly. Touche. So 3 airspace corridors between how do you fly an eVTOL from Marina over to Salinas? How do you get back to Watsonville? And also it's going to be a vertiport study, how you arrive at a vertiport and take off and depart from a vertiport. And so we're all learning as we go. It's really exciting. It's still somewhat vague, but if we nail it, which I hope we do, we're going to get more funding down the road with other grants. So it's called a CAMPSI grant. MBEP is the fiduciary. Hopefully Salinas will be the lead airport. More to follow every month.
Now, does this mean that we're going to see eVTOLs flying between airports to
Yes.
test this out?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's the intent, and that's the main goal of flying between airports.
Oh, well, I had the opportunity to talk to Scott Berry earlier today, and he said, I understand the concept, but I haven't heard about the program going. And so they don't know that they're going to be flying yet. But they are building their final compliant aircraft, so that should be able to go.
Yep. And again, it's still a little bit loose with the guides from the state and a little loose from MBEP, but we're hoping to get more direction. Once we are identified, hopefully as a lead airport in the city, then we'll be able to start taking charge of this.
Is this the only place in the country that's taken place, or is this happening at different places around the country?
Other states, but we're the only 4 airport system in the state of California
Okay.
to receive this.
Right, I caught some, okay.
Yep,
cool,
yeah. So
interesting.
Texas is doing it, Florida, another state, and South Dakota. So it's kind of a space race.
South
for
Dakota,
eVTOLs.
they have more than one airport? I'm gonna get in trouble for that.
You're gonna get censured. All right. So that's the CAMPSI, that's the MBEP award, or the CAMPSI award. A couple things here I'm gonna mention. We are doing a fence project at the airport because there's some areas that are really bad that need attention. And it's gonna be a phased approach because of the cost. So we're gonna submit to the FAA a 4-phased approach and triage the worst areas and have those improved right off the bat. Hopefully it'll be a 1090 match with the feds. If not, I think we still have to self-fund this because it's important to have a fence around your assets. The security system upgrade is about $750,000. That security system upgrade is going to start probably around sometime in November. And it's something that Brett Godan, my predecessor, started, so it'll be another enhancement there for the airport. I'm also throwing some money at a study to show pilots with the Air Force, particularly with C-130s and C-17s, on what kind of landing weight they can, how heavy they can be when they land, and how heavy they can be when taking off. It's a pavement condition index study that we can give to the pilot and say, you are allowed to land at this airport. And the reason why I wanted to do that is, first of all, it clears out any ambiguity from looking at the graphs and the charts and the tables for these pilots. They can come in and realize what runways they can use. Runway 8 and 26 does not really have a good study for the C-130, believe it or not, even though it's a smaller airplane than the C-17. With this new information, we'll be able to give this to the pilots, and this will encourage them to fly in, land, and also buy fuel. So, yes, sir.
Can I get back to your security system for a minute?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Is anything with that going to affect the private gates? Because I've heard a lot of stories from people of people just following through on private gates that are sitting there waiting and nobody seems to care. And you know, even when I've back in the dark ages when I was still flying, I know that was a big problem then that we kind of had to deal with, but we tried to deal with it on a private basis, but it's a difficult one. Is there anything that can be done or is going to be done about that?
You're talking about like piggybacking to get inside the airport?
Yeah,
It really boils down to the person who's driving the car to stop and wait for the gate to close and then move on.
yeah, I
So-
know when I was flying out of San Jose, it was a $1,500 fine if you didn't do that and you lost your privileges of getting into the airport.
Mhm, mhm. Yep.
And I think we need something like that
Mhm,
because
mhm.
it seems to be a escalating problem.
Do you see that a little bit?
Yeah,
Okay, all right. That's one thing where it's just incumbent on the person driving the car to stop and wait for the gate to close, and then they swipe the badge till you cannot piggyback. But yeah, that's something we could look at, imposing a fine or revoking your
Mm-hmm.
card, your access. So, we'll look more into that. Let's see,
Let me ask you a
our,
question on that.
yeah, go ahead.
So, Bob, you're talking about private gates?
yes, like a Tanamiranattle and then one over by Advanced Tech.
Yeah.
And then there's also,
Oh, I misunderstood your question. Okay.
oh, yeah,
The private gates.
yeah.
Private gates, they would be responsible for what's going on there, wouldn't they?
Well, they should be, but I think in the case of Advanced Tech, does their private gate only let them into their parking lot? I can't remember now, but that might be something that we would want to consider, is that
Yeah.
the private gate for TNA only go into that parking lot.
I think with the TNA gate, you can get around it, can't you? Yeah, you can get around that. If you use the private gate, you can
Yeah.
then access the field. But thanks for bringing that to my attention, because I can definitely reach out to Advanced Tech and the TNA hangar there too.
Well, TNA could be fixed with a bollard or two. It doesn't seem like much of
That's
a
true.
problem.
Right.
How about,
Yeah, if you're talking about public gates, there is a lot more traffic going through there that's not aviation because they're washing cars, they're keeping vehicles back there, and there is a little bit of that going on, but I don't see it, I haven't seen it at a problem level.
Mhm.
yeah, and is the gate down at where Pacific International and Caprara's airplane, is that a private or is that?
That's a private gate as well.
Yeah, okay, that's another one too, I think.
Okay.
that-
Thanks for bringing that to my attention. I was not aware of the piggybackers there, so, yeah, we'll work on that, and it'll be we'll get some satisfaction. Yep. Thank you. Any other questions about the gates or, okay? I think that is it for me, and this is no longer working. Next meeting date is November 20th, 2025. That ends my report. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So, in regards to next meeting date, I think this was asked earlier, is everyone else gonna be able to make it?
Believe so.
Jim will be here, okay, great. Any future agenda items? Announcements? Okay.
Are we gonna have a December meeting? We're planning on that?
We can, I mean, every meeting on the schedule, we plan as according to hold it. I mean, we plan on it, but if there's a reason not to, we can certainly waive off if there's no business or
Yeah.
folks are on vacation, that's fine too.
I was just curious, because I know sometimes we have and sometimes we haven't.
Yep.
Just- Yeah.
How does it sound if we send out to the commissioners their preference and interest on waiving off for December and/or November? We'll see if we can do that. So,
I know in the past, we've moved the one in December up a week or something, I think.
Up a
because
week,
to
okay.
Keep it being so close to Christmas.
sure, sure.
Haven't we combined them in the past, had a November, December meeting?
We have done that too, yeah. I had
Mhm.
one the first week in December and I had not had one in November too.
Okay.
That's something else that's been done.
How does it sound if I run it by the chair first and see what his direction is, and then
Okay.
we'll figure that out that way? December 18th, okay, yeah, maybe we'll move it up.
Yeah,
makes sense
that's
to
already
move it
been
up from,
thought of, Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember that.
yeah, but even farther up, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, okay. All
Okay,
right.
thank you.
Thank you. All right, any last chance for announcements or anything? Nope?
I'll quit talking.
All right, no, that's good. All right, let's call it adjournment then. Thank you.